Hello, Skele Vaderites and friends of Skele Vader. Thanks so much for tuning in for this somewhat impromptu weekly weirdo, I suppose. I work from home on Fridays, and I'm using my lunch break today because I just could not wait any longer. I've been so busy, and these two items have been sitting here for several days, and I'm so excited to talk about them. Hey, we got Kenzo here. Great to see you, Kenzo. Hey, cool of you to tune in at this time of day. I know it's tough for a lot of people, but I know my viewers will tune in and watch this later. But I'm glad you're here. Thanks so much for tuning in. And looks like there's 3 people watching right now, which is pretty darn cool. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. I want to preface this by saying, thank you, Kenzo. I don't tell my job, but I had a little snack about 15 minutes before I went live today. All right, so let me do a little bit of setup for this. For those of you who watch the Skele Vader channel, I know you're already interested in and familiar with, and this is old news for a lot of you. Some of you already have these figures, but Masters of the Universe, any new Masters of the Universe figures are interesting to me. These particular figures are part of the Turtles of Grayskull line, and if you watch The Frenzy, or if you've listened to me talk on this channel before, then you've heard me mention that this line is okay. Like I'm all right with what they're doing, and there's a reason why. Some of the figures, like the turtle figures, and this is probably because I'm not a huge Turtles fan, but I've always loved the villains and the mutants in Turtles, especially Muckman. Like, he's fantastic. But the newer figures that are based on Masters of the Universe characters that have been mutated are spectacular. So I'm less interested in the characters that seem familiar, the characters that are like the turtles themselves, or even the Man-at-Arms that I've seen in the store. It's like, it's all right. Samurai Man-at-Arms, that's a pretty cool concept, but it doesn't quite do it for me. But what's really hitting me hard with a different kind of nostalgia is these mutated versions of characters that we're familiar with. So in a way, this line is allowing Mattel to continue to explore the obscure, which is what made Masters of the Universe so awesome to me as a kid. These obscure characters showing up out of nowhere. Like there's like, why would there be a character named Spike or covered with spikes? There's no rhyme or reason for this, but love it, right? Clawful, one claw hand and a crab-like body or lobster-like body and a face that doesn't look like either. Like, super weird, big bushy eyebrows. It's so cool and so weird. And that's why I fell in love with Masters in the first place. Hey, we got Eric Perryman. Good to see you. Great to have you back. And Kenzo saying, I am the same with this line, definitely on the same page. All right, cool. That's good to know. I'm not alone. Sometimes, we have our attachments to things, and it's a little bit, we might feel a little bit alone in that. Also, I'm reducing the amount that I'm collecting right now. I'm trying to move some things around, get rid of a few things, but also consolidate my what I want to be collecting. And so these 2 figures here fit in that category. Oh, and I got this for Father's Day. This is amazing. I think Sean Scavarna has the same T-shirt, I think, and I got really jealous. And my daughters got this for me. The artist for this is Brian Bow, and he did this design in 2019, and it's phenomenal. Merman's one of my favorites, one of my spirit animals from the Motu line, and this design is great. So we'll get to Merman in a little bit, but we're going to start off with this character, Mossman, the mutated master of nature. I mean, come on, you're watching this, you know who Mossman is. But this version of the character is really cool. So I live in Central Valley of California area, and I've been popping into some of the Walmarts every once in a while. I don't. My schedule is such that I can't just go look every day, and nor do I really want to. But my friend of the channel, frenzied champion, cobweb collector, his link to his YouTube channel is right down below. Cobweb, Jacob sent this my way, and well, he found it, and he let me buy it for a regular price, which is awesome. And shipped it to me, which is so cool. Mossman, mutated master of nature. And let's get this guy open. I thought, it's good to open this here live so you can see my reaction and stuff. But I also know how annoying it is for the sounds of the plastic and stuff. So I'll try and be quiet with all that. But the artwork here is really cool. Mossman looks great. The directions are minimal, but I really like that they're putting directions on these side flaps now. Hey, Rolando, great to have you here. Great to see you. All right, so get that out of the way. And look, so if you watch this channel, you hear Oz and I talk about these things, purple and green. We are all about purple and green. And I'm a huge fan of these colors. And looking at this up close, finally, and in person, this organic armor that he has is really beautiful. Let's just go ahead and get this guy out of the package. For those of you that are watching right now, have you been able to find these in the wild? Or are you struggling just as much as I am to find these things in the wild? Yeah, let me know. Like Kenzo, Ronaldo, Eric, have you guys been able to find these in Walmarts? All right, so this is the figure. I'm going to go ahead and get these cut open too, these additional parts. The accessories, I don't know if we call them accessories or just like extensions of the character, are just really, really, really amazing. Beautiful. There's a lot of people have been talking about this, but there's definitely some influences on this design from the character Vecna from Stranger Things, and I guess just recently Mattel released some images of the Vecna He-Man 2-pack, so that's cool. That's cool. I don't know if that's something I'm going to be interested in getting, but all right. Kenzo said, I was able to track them all down, but was able to go most days to hunt. All right. That's good. Yes. I've actually seen Kenzo's posts regarding his trips to Walmart, and that's awesome. I love that. I love when people can do that. I love the journey to get to that thing. It's so cool and so much fun. And everybody, if you're watching this later on or right now, definitely go check out Kenzo's channel. All right. So look at this guy, the translucent green, the red painted eyes, the painted on teeth, very simple paint applications. But look at this purple armor. I know that these tentacle things are going to go back there. I love this sort of rib cage element. It's very cool. They gave him the sort of sharper finger hands that came with I believe it's the Demogorgon Skeletor 2-pack. And I know other characters have had these as well. But yeah, the translucent green is what really gets me on this. People have complained about the feet, not being able to stand him up. He's standing up fine, but we do have to add some heavy attachments to him, so that might be a problem. And people have noticed that that's a problem. But Cobb, thank you so much for sending this my way. I really appreciate you for doing that. It's awesome. Helping, you know, this community really helps each other out, and I love that about this community. Kenzo is saying Vecna is up for pre-order now at Target if you're interested, and the mutated Rocksteady and Bebop. So the mutated Rocksteady Bebop is pretty cool. I've always liked them, and they're influenced by the Too Bad design. So I hope that means we're going to get a Too Bad in Origins soon. But yeah, the Rocksteady Bebop Too Bad is pretty tempting for me. Eric says Walmart still has Jitsu and Sorceress. And so Eric's been ordering through Big Bad Toy Store. That's awesome. That's great. We got to do what we got to do. All right, so I'm going to first put the tentacles on. Yeah, the purple and green just really is beautiful here. Look at that. I guess you could switch it up so the larger tentacles are down on the bottom too if you wanted to switch it out. Let's see, go like that. Yeah, so you could do that if you want. Pretty neat. I might do that right now. And yeah, that's pretty cool. Then he has this weapon, which can go in his hand. The plastic's all very soft, pliable, which is great for play because stuff won't break, which is cool. I do worry a little bit about the lifespan of these softer plastics. They might get sticky and start to disintegrate a little bit earlier on, maybe. But maybe not. All right, so this goes into his hand. He holds it like a gun. That's pretty cool. He's holding on to a canister of ooze. They probably should have painted that. You can't really see that there, which is pretty smart. But they should have painted that, I think. That would be my opinion on that. All right, and then we have this attachment that I believe... I'll check the box again. Oh, there's this little one piece of cardboard art. You should save those if you throw away your packaging. Those are pretty beautiful. And it says here, oh, okay, yeah, you can use this. Oh, that makes sense. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and take his head off. And this little piece here goes on here. There you go. Maybe I did that backwards. Let's see. Oh, that's better. That's better, I think. And then you've got this Audrey fly trap, Little Shop of Horrors inspired fly trap thing that goes on his head to replace his head since he's mutated. And it looks like the best way that they're recommending is for the head to be like this. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on and see what it looks like. But I guess you can just twist it around to have it at whatever angle you want. But this guy looks like... okay, so there's this movie called Street Trash from, I believe it's the early 80s, mid 80s maybe. And it's about this chemical. It's very similar to Toxic Avenger movies, if you're familiar with that. It's this manufactured chemical that people ingest. It's being sold. It's accidentally sold in a liquor store or something. And they ingest it, and then it disintegrates them from the inside out. But I'm bringing it up because the special effects that they used in that movie are pretty fun. They're the chemical turns people into sort of fluorescent colors, so it liquefies them. But the material is all these fluorescent colors, these colors. So what I'm getting at here, this is kind of like if Street Trash and The Thing became a movie, combined to become a different kind of movie. So this is pretty amazing. It appeals to my sense of my attraction to these bright colors, and it definitely appeals to my love for the film The Thing, John Carpenter's Thing. Wow, this is very cool. And now let's see if he stands up with all of this stuff on there. So I see what my buddy's customs. Bud was complaining about this. Now he is standing, but I can tell in this Central California heat, he's probably going to fall over. But he is standing. Very cool. Also, everybody, you should head over to my buddy's customs Instagram page and his YouTube channel as well, and check out his recent custom paint job for the new Mossman here. I kind of like this. I think I'm going to put this one on display and save this head. The head's great. I'm a sucker for the original Mossman head sculpt that is basically just Beastman. And I like the 2000X Mossman, the Mike Young Productions Mossman. But I don't have a nostalgic attachment to that design. So I do appreciate this head sculpt, but it doesn't really get me in the same way as the traditional one does. I think, other people have probably mentioned this, but they should have released this in solid green with the Origins Mossman. That's surprising that they didn't do that. They just hadn't made the design yet, I guess. All right, Mossman. Now to move on to my buddy Merman. Now, I've really been looking forward to this. This version of this character has been something that I've been really excited about for a long time, ever since I saw the images online. What was that? Was one of the recent cons. Kenzo is saying Wave 7 Nightmare is a nightmare, Eric. Oh yeah, that's true. How Jitsu and Sorceress just they're everywhere. Jitsu, Sorceress, and Mini Comic Stratos. Yeah, they're still everywhere. I still see them everywhere. All right, so it comes with a little card, which is a beautiful piece of artwork. Wait, is it a comic? No, it's a card. It's a card. I'm going to save that. I'll save the other one too, but all right. Here is the card back art. It's really beautiful. They have all the turtles here, even Michelangelo with the He-Man hair, wearing the He-Man hair. And they do show him without his armor here. So we're going to look at that today and set up as he looks in the package. Yeah, this guy's great. Just shows you can change his parts out. He really reminds me of those very, very old illustrations of sea creatures, of sea monsters. Pictures of whales and dolphins that are interpreted by someone who can't really see them completely because the technology wasn't there. So the designs were very sort of exaggerated and almost cartoony. Here's something that I find a little bit surprising and I guess a little bit disappointing. I'm looking back there. I do have the cartoon style Merman. Where is he? He's right there. And he comes with this exact trident. And that's cool and everything, but it would have really been, going back to Mike Young Productions, it really would have been fantastic if they would have provided a version of the Mike Young Productions inspired trident. That would have been great, because we already have two of these if we're collecting all the Merman. He does also come with this fantastic sword. which is a nice surprise. It's definitely not the corn cob sword that we're used to seeing with Merman. This is a different sword entirely, and it's got some mutation stuff happening. And the color, the paint application on this is really great. It's like almost like it's been sprayed from this side, yellow, so it fades out to green. Pretty beautiful. Oh, got another piece of all right. And just to save the best for last, let's first look at his legs that he comes with. They are traditional Merman legs, from what I can tell. Yeah, traditional Merman legs. Oh, but he has. These look like the clawful feet. I don't have my Origins Merman out. That's interesting. Maybe they did this with the Origins Merman too. If you're in the if you're still watching, folks, and you know, does the Origins Merman have the clawful feet, or is that new with this character? Yeah, I mean, cool beans. But this is the Merman that I've been wanting to hold in my hands and see in person. Look at that. Definitely inspired by early illustrations of sea monsters. You've got some like the anglerfish inspiration with this little dangly thing hanging off of his face. The mouth, just also very similar to anglerfish. So, all right, I knew Kenzo would chime in here. Origins Merman has Skeletor feet. These are definitely different. Hey, that's cool. That's great. I thought so. But I did not get Lady Slither. I was tempted simply because of this body. But I'm glad I held off because I'm not a huge, Oz is going to kick me for saying this. I'm not a huge fan of the Snake Men. I love Tongue Lasher and I love Cobra Khan. And I do like Snakeface. He's pretty cool too. But some of the newer versions of the characters, it doesn't really do anything for me. But this usage of this tail is really cool, really great. Love it. I noticed some people mentioning they did give him a bigger hand on this side than he has on this side. This is the same gripping hand that Mossman has, but they did give him a larger gripping hand on this side, which is cool. But look at that face sculpt again. Yeah, that's pretty great. And he's very sturdy on his tail. And if I give him his sword, that's definitely going to go in the smaller hand, it looks like. And, yep. And then the trident, that doesn't really go in this hand at all. It just does not want to hold. I guess I could just, balance it there, but, So, let me see about the sword, though. I know other people have explored this already. Yeah, that doesn't hold in this hand either. Kenzo, do you know why? I know Kenzo's watching this still. Do you know why this hand was made bigger? Is there a purpose? I have not identified the purpose yet. I'm going to go ahead and put his traditional legs on there. And that's kind of cool. Look at that. Let me put his belt on there too. I do like the inspiration. This one is, that's okay. I'm not really keen on that. That's a little too hefty. Take this off. His armor's going to pop right off. Oh, I'm going to try something in a little bit. The armor pops right off. And that's kind of cool. This is kind of great. I kind of love this. Yeah, so if anybody who's watching right now or later on, if you're watching, do write it in the comments. Am I missing something? Is there a reason why he has the larger head? Is there something he's going to be able to be holding on to? Not head, hand, the larger hand. I mean, it looks beautiful. It's cool. But he can't really hold on to anything. I do kind of like, so as we saw in the box, on the box art, here he is without the labyrinth, not labyrinth, the Leviathan tail. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put this armor back on him because I wanted to try something else as well. I wanted to see what the tentacles look like, the Mossman tentacles look like on him. That's probably the reason why they gave him these two things. I guess you could put the other mutant shells on here from the line, because I think there's a couple of shells that have been released with other characters. I know Slaker has a pretty impressive shell. All right, got that back on him. And then put his head back on. And then let's try these tentacles. Okay, so what does Kenzo say? He says they fit the sword. That hand doesn't really fit with the sword. The big hand doesn't fit with the sword either. This hand can hold this little hand can hold the sword and can hold the trident. And but the trident doesn't seem to fit anywhere. The trident, let's see if the trident fits in the smaller hand. I didn't even try that. I just assumed. Yeah, it fits good. That one fits great. This also holds the sword great. This hand doesn't want to hold anything. I guess it's just a cool design, and we can accept it for that. All right. And because of the purple and the green and the blues on Mossman, the purple and the green on Mossman, and the purple hands, and there's a little bit of purple in the face paint there. This actually looks really amazing. Okay, Kenzo, good. I'm glad I'm not alone on that. It doesn't seem to fit anything. It's just for design. I love to do this with my Skeletors, so that'll work, right? These, I'm sure everyone who has this have tried this already, but the tentacles look fantastic on this guy. Matches the purple on the tail and in the face and in the hands. So I mentioned Cobweb earlier in sending me Mossman, but the gentleman, my friend John, Emerald Knight Photos, he's the one who found Merman in the wild. So John, thank you so much. Everybody who's watching, whether you're watching now or later on, definitely go to the links below and check out Cobb's and Emerald Knight Photos information and look at their stuff. Cobb's doing great toy reviews. Emerald Knight Photos, John, he does amazing toy photography. And there's other stuff to explore down there also. So do have fun with that. Let's see. Kenzo says maybe it's a hand that can choke people out. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. And then Eric saying, really liking these designs. They seem to fit with Mike Young production style for sure. That actually reminds me of something. Yes, there's definitely some Mike Young Productions influence on this Merman and the Mossman for sure. But also something that I've only heard a few other people talk about. That is the Merman. There is an iridescent Merman that Mondo came out with a few years ago. And I like what Mondo does. The Merman, it didn't really appeal to me. I'm more of like this kind of Merman. I'm interested in this kind of Merman, or the mini comics Merman, or the Mike Young Productions Merman. Those are the Merman that I prefer. But the color, the iridescent quality for this color, the coloration of this, the head sculpt for this is definitely inspired a little bit maybe other people know more than I do, buy the Mondo release of Merman that's iridescent and brightly colored. There was a designer that they teamed up with that Mondo. I can't remember off the top of my head. Hey, Duchess, good to see you here. And Kenzo is saying, even if you don't like the snakes too much, that Necroconda is amazing, and the glow-in-the-dark feature is so great. Yeah, the Necroconda looks pretty great. I'm probably gonna, just because I'm being pickier about what I purchase, I'm probably gonna hold off on that. But the glow, I did see people review the glow feature, and it does look great. I think it was you, Kenzo. And the glow is fantastic. I mean, the glow feature for the Origins Scare Glow is fantastic in itself. Really, really good. But it's nice to hear that the Necroconda glow feature is even more intense. This is my favorite beverage container. This is from Starbucks. And the glow on this is so intense that you don't even have to put it under light for it to glow. Like it will glow all night long, which is super crazy and strange. It serves as a nightlight. I have it right next to the bed. It's like always glowing. There's been times where I've almost gotten annoyed with it, but I love it so much. Anyways, oh no. All right. We've got Mossman. Cobweb, thank you so much for sending this crazy Mossman to me. Again, go watch Street Trash and then follow it up with The Thing, and you'll see what I'm talking about. John Carpenter's The Thing. And then this amazing Merman. Both of these are fantastic. Thank you, John, Emerald Night Photos, for sending this my way. Thank you, Cobweb, for sending this my way. Thank you, Duchess and Kenzo and Eric and the other people that tuned in and couldn't stick around. I know you were there. And Rolando, thank you so much. I'm just making sure I didn't miss anybody in the chat. Thank you all so much for tuning in the middle of the day or later. What if you're on the East Coast? It's 3 p.m., so it's in the afternoon for you. So thank you so much for tuning in. And yes, Kenzo, Collectors Helping Collectors. It's a great community. I'm just constantly amazed by how wonderful this collecting community is that surrounds the Frenzy and surrounds the Skele Vader channel. Ostradamus Toys, Oz, you all know him. He does he makes such a great effort and works so hard to connect everybody. Folks, go over there to Oz's channel and subscribe to his channel and give him a thank you for doing all the hard work to connect everybody in this community. Some of us are just a little too busy to be able to do the kind of work that he does, but he does it even though he's busy. He's just out there connecting people constantly. But yeah, thank you all so much for being here. And thank you to those of you who are patrons of this channel. You know who you are. You are listed right down below. And then if you're interested in becoming a Patreon for the Skele Vader channel, feel free to check out what I'm offering down below. I will make you, if you become a Patreon, I'll make you a little painting of a character of your choice. And you'll have access to early episodes of Cambridge and Washawn, which is a podcast I do with my friend Mark. So that's it for this almost impromptu weekly weirdo lunch break live from Skele Vader. Thank you all so much for being here. And